and welcome to What's Next Wall Street. I am Georgia Alfredas.
And I'm Dave Mathews. Now, this is a show about stocks, crypto, and the new decentralized financial Web3 world around us.
So listen, today I've got details on all the hot new trending products that everybody's talking about using and investing in. And today, layoffs are trending. I know it's scary, but there could be a bright side. Because I'm Mrs. Brightside.
We haven't had a sing-along in a while, and I think there's a reason. Well, I'm going to talk about Mercedes being the most recent auto manufacturer to ask for a subscription service to, wait for it, extra horsepower.
What? I'll drive slow. No worries. We've got Greg Krause, lead instructor at OptionsPlayers.com, as our expert. So what Greg does is chart a lot of these companies that we're going to talk about today. And these chart indicators can show where a particular stock is headed, hopefully up, so that it's easier to target investment potential. So Greg combines technical analysis with fundamental knowledge.
Now, our goal with all of this is to provide you with education, information, and tips to help you become a more informed trader with a tailored trade plan so you can stay up to speed with what's next on Wall Street and stack some financial gains. That's money in your pocket.
That's right. So you can email us at OptionsPlayers.com or hit us up on social media at What's Next Wall Street with your questions. We can also direct you over to instructors at OptionsPlayers.com. What they do is dig into funding fundamentals, like trading fundamentals, the funding of the trade. You know what I mean?
If you're listening to Georgia Babylon, you can watch her Babylon on the Options Players YouTube channel or continue listening on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Did you know the song, We Babble On? We babble about the things that you don't, it was Salt and Pepper. Okay, whether you're listening to the podcast or watching this silliness on YouTube, make sure you subscribe, hit that alert button so that you always know what's next on Wall Street. And if you like us and what's not to like, give us 5 stars. Just in time for the holiday travel season. See, a lot of people only travel during the holiday season, not
That's
just
weird.
all day long. Frontier Airlines has announced that it is getting rid of its telephone customer service. The low-cost airline is making the switch to online, mobile, and text support via the company website or app. So it's just one of many changes Frontier's rolled out in the past to cut costs, including charging fees for carry-on luggage, snacks, and advanced seat assignments. So we came this close to booking tickets through Frontier because the tickets initially looked so cheap. But once we added bag fees and paid for extra seating to sit, near our family with our 8-year-old, we realized that Frontier should just be called Spirit. I kid you not.
You know what I hate more? The fact that you can't call someone travel when it goes awry.
Yeah.
Or the fact that you don't have to call and go postal
Right.
when you're in the heat of the moment.
Exactly.
So that's like, I don't know, 50-50 for me, whether they got rid of the phone or not.
Okay.
Hey, so WhatsApp is rolling out a feature that lets you chat with yourself. It's called Message Yourself, real creative, guys. And it lets users share info and reminders to be easily checked later. It'll be on all Android and iPhone devices in the coming weeks. Now, I've seen people do this with their iPhone and Android as well, just in the integrated messenger, but I don't get it.
I don't either.
I'm getting too many other messages from people anyway.
Right.
And I prefer to just use Notepad in the phone. I guess the timestamp, though, when the message came in is nice to have. But the bigger picture here is there's still a messaging war going on. Apple has the blue bubble.
Yes.
Georgia, you know
Yes.
that, which is, by the way, a dating status symbol. If you don't have the blue bubble, if you get a green bubble, you're like, ew.
Cheap phone. Not cheap, but just different.
Yep. And then there's iMessage takeovers with colors and robots for vendors that sign up for the program,
That's
like
cool.
Home Depot and some of the credit card companies do this.
Okay.
Now, you've got WhatsApp all over Europe with hotels and services using it. And WeChat in China is taking the approach of making micro apps within their platform, which Zuckerberg sees as an idea, as well as Elon, who frankly will probably execute this faster inside of Twitter. Truth be told, Elon needs to get the devs excited about something inside Twitter, and his advertising revenue is down, as we talked about last week, so be sure and listen to that episode. So taking a share of micro apps like the Apple tax seems like a natural transition. And by the way, it's worked for China, so it's not too far off course.
But let me ask you something. I have never used WhatsApp in my life. Like I shouldn't say that. Like a few years ago, I used it with like my yoga group, my yoga teacher. But and I know everybody in Europe, like it's a big thing. I don't think Americans use it as much.
No, not at all. And it's become because back when it was invented in the middle 2010s, Jan was an Israeli foreigner living in America, and he wanted to message his friends back in Russia. And data phones were everywhere, but a text message for you to send a message from the US to Russia was probably like 50 cents or $1 a message. So he created WhatsApp as a way to send messages.
It's been around that long. I had no idea.
Yeah, and it was bought by Meta for $19 billion.
Crazy.
And I helped a friend try and get a job there right beforehand, and they only wanted to give her a few hundred shares, and no one knew it was going to sell for $19 billion. But Facebook at the time, they just bought Instagram for $1.5 billion. So I'm like, look, they're going to probably buy WhatsApp for more because there were more users on WhatsApp than there were Instagram. So let's see, you want about 100,000 shares or 200,000 shares. I go, tell you what, I'll write you a check for $100,000 to buy in on those shares. And to which point, when she suggested that, they laughed at her, did not take the investment. She did not take the job because she wasn't getting enough shares. And then she went back to meet with those nerds later. And you know what one of those little assholes did? He wrote down the number of what she would have made on a piece of paper, put it upside down, and slid it across the table.
That's the worst.
Like he's some dick banker doing this stuff. Like,
that's the worst.
Here's what you walked away from. Like, what a jerk move.
Wow.
But $19 billion it was bought for. And it was really just a problem that at the time you were probably using BBM. Teleprompter guy. Did you have BBM? Yeah. So
you
my
mean like
buddies,
a Brazilian
No, not that
that's
BBL.
Okay,
that's
my
different.
bad. Go ahead.
But BBM, my buddies, I was living in LA at the time. We were just like a mini version of Entourage. I was on the G4 network. So I was, pretty much drama. No, drama was the other guy. We had our driver. Everybody was on BBM. Like, who's our driver picking up first?
I don't even know what the hell BBM is. I don't know
BlackBerry
what that is.
Messenger. It was on the BlackBerry, right?
Okay.
Come
you
on.
called it BBM. Where you thought you
Global
were cool.
Express, Boeing Jets, Global Express, out the country, but my BlueBerry still connects. Jay-Z, what's up? Dropping that BBM.
So I'm going to move on to the next story. If that's
thank
okay
you.
with you. Merriam-Webster is naming gaslighting as its word of the year, which makes sense. The publishing company cited a rise in the word's usage over the past several years as misinformation and conspiracy theories pop up on the internet. Gaslighting is defined both as the psychological manipulation of a person and the act or practice of grossly misleading someone. And the word saw a 1,740% increase throughout the year. Merriam-Webster described it as a word for our time. I would agree with that. Some honorable mentions that made it onto the top 10 list include Omicron, obviously, thanks to COVID, oligarch, thanks to Putin's rich friends, and codified, thanks to the Supreme Court decision to overturn Roe versus Wade. So we learn things, right?
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, how about those gas holes in the petroleum industry who gaslighted us on pricing? Now, they were quick to raise fuel prices and turtle slow to lower them once the cost of the barrel went down after the uptick in demand, once the pandemic restrictions were lifted. Maybe this was because of the supply chain and global need for the petty Putin oil leaving the world markets. But look, I still think about a literal gaslighting is what they did to us.
Yeah, you're right. I'm calling it. Gas hole, though, is definitely going to be added to Merriam's list of most used words next year. That's my new word. Speaking of gaslighting and gas holes, Twitter is no longer stopping misinformation about COVID. Some people think COVID was probably a hoax or just a really bad cold, while others, maybe people like me who were stuck in bed and thought they were literally dying, know for sure that is more than just a really bad cold. So
I'm just genetically superior. What can I say?
Maybe. So back to this latest update, which has Twitter not removing or even tagging misleading information about the pandemic. So this makes sense, though, for another reason. Elon Musk has openly criticized stay-at-home orders in the past. So all he needs is some doctor saying COVID is back with a vengeance and that the world needs to go back inside on lockdown. So Elon is reportedly delaying the launch of the Twitter Blue verification service. Yet again, this is something else. The launch is reportedly being postponed as Twitter tries to avoid paying Apple's 30% share of subscription revenue made through its app store. Now, As of this taping, Apple hasn't commented on the report. I know you got lots to say about this. And Twitter apparently no longer has a communications department, so there's that. So I don't know.
Well, every app has to pay the Apple tax.
Yeah.
And in fact, you can't read Amazon books inside of the iPhone because you have to buy the books through another website.
Yeah.
And then you can read them, but you can't buy them. And it's a whole mess. So.
But I just feel like you said, I think he's going to probably get into the business of creating. Why doesn't he create his own Apple store? He could do it.
Well, hold on. There's rumor of a Twitter phone.
So there.
Right? So let's think about this. The Twitter phone will talk to the Starlink satellites.
Oh my gosh.
And now you can have like your own independent world. I see Greg over there nodding. Greg, are you going to buy a Twitter phone? Are you going to be off the grid and into outer space?
I mean, if there's one individual I would not want to piss off and join my sector, whatever sector that is, it would be Elon. Because I mean, name a sector he hasn't taken over. Banking, he destroyed it. Space, are you serious? He sends more tonnage to space than every other country and everybody else in here together. I don't even know if Boeing can even launch a missile anymore. Every now and then they say they launch one, but there's some issue. While they're sitting here, they got more satellites than everyone. Cars, I mean, let's not discuss that. So if Apple wants to start talking smack, I would sell my Apple if Elon decided to start building.
Well, Bezos tried to build a phone,
phones,
and it was
Bezos'
team built the Fire phone, and they just laid off the entire team that was building the Alexa devices, and Amazon had
over
massive
1,000 people.
And that phone, no one's using an Amazon phone anymore. So.
I don't know if anybody can touch Apple, but we used to say, remember we all had our Razors and we never thought there'd be anything better.
The Razor scooters, the push scooters?
No, the Razor, the flip phone. Remember the
Razor? Oh, the Motorola RZR. Yeah,
remember Motorola
Razors,
was the bomb. Nobody, what Apple phone, please.
You know, Georgia, let's work on our Weird Al tribute to Elon. Living in an Elon Musk world, and I am a material. No, I'm not a material girl. Okay, I'm gonna have to work on that. All right, back to the news. Twitter is not the only tech company missing departments. Tech companies have laid off almost as many workers this year as the Great Recession. That was what, 2008?
Yeah.
Tech firms have announced more than 60,000 layoffs this year, and more are probably on the way. Amazon announced job cuts over the next 3 years. That's on top of the devices group that they laid off last week. And Google is reportedly considering thousands of layoffs. About 65,000 tech jobs went away in 2008 to 2009 during the last recession, so we should expect more. Hey, look, the same thing happened in the March of 2020. I left my high-rise level, high-paying Manhattan job, and I held up in the Ozarks, rebuilding Sea-Doos and living my best pandemic life on the former world's largest lake.
Okay.
I teleworked with major companies on license and building my invention of technology to create safe methods to get back to the office. Obviously, that didn't pan out.
Oh, you're not a billionaire?
People are still working from home. But we saw an opportunity, and we went for it. Now, in 2022, I've helped 49 startups with their dreams of bringing a company to market during what I call the rebuilding phase of our post-pandemic world.
I like it.
And now, remember Uncle Sam, Georgia? Remember what he said?
Yeah.
I want you. That's right. If you've been laid off, you're thinking about quitting, and you've been noodling on an idea that you have inside of your cranium, hopefully you can build a rough prototype, put together a demonstration and a deck to show why you're the right person or team to bring this to market, and let me help you with our team to bring this to life. So you can head to the softtech.com. That's
this is real. I was like, wait, are you serious?
SoftTech.com. Yeah, this is real.
Okay.
I want you.
All right, softtech.com.
Softtech, SOFTEQ.com, and click on the Venture Studio link. From there, you can learn about our program and apply. When I'm not living out my broadcasting dream working here with Georgia, I'm the CTO over there advising all the startups going through the program, and it's been an honor and a blast. But it's not the same without you. So get your deck together and pitch me and the team at SoftTech.
Did he pay for this commercial?
It's free. Today's pro tip is brought to you by OptionsPlayers.com. Greg, I know you've got this live trading class on Options Players, and you started off with just $125. Is it a class? What's it up to now? And what's your trade situation look like over there?
It's just short of 21,000 right now.
Wow.
That's
I
amazing.
wouldn't
How
say
long?
it is I wouldn't say it's a class. I would say we all learn stuff together. I kind of try to explain what I learned, but I think a lot of people also learn from the other people that are just there. Like today, market, we had Powell speaking. So, it was kind of crazy. We only did 2 trades, but like I had some trades that I was in from yesterday. So it was a little bit, so, we just discussed other stuff, whatever it is. It's kind of just talking. But you'll learn from other people also. But yeah, well, if you got a question you can ask, and I
Okay.
guess you can learn all you want, but
So
we
how
do
long
teach
did it
other
take
things.
you? Greg, how long did it take you
From
to go from 125 to 21,000?
Yeah.
How long did it take me to make $20,000? I want to know.
Okay, so I mean, I'm not scaling it, so we had to get lucky in the beginning just to get like 500 right from it. So it was maybe 1 trade every day, trying to make like $30. And then once we got to like 500, now we're trying to make $50 a trade. These are all cash, no margin, so kind of limited there. So now I still only try to trade no more than like 5,000 or 6,000 total in a day, and we're still try to get a little bit over $100, and I'm happy. But we need to average about 200 to kind of meet our goal of 5,000 every 2
Georgia,
months.
this is like the red paperclip.
Yeah, I love this.
You start with a red paperclip. Google this. You got to read this story. This guy, he like started with a paperclip, ended up with a house just by trading. But there was a lot of work to do that. Greg, I think just sitting on chat watching you would be like a really fun exercise.
$20,000? You kidding me? I can make that a year.
Yeah, we just
so Greg, what
talk. I mean, like today, one of our people, he trades his own. It's not like I'm sitting here saying, "Hey, follow this trade." I do say, "Hey, I'm getting in here, this, and this," and I tell you why I'm doing it. But we got a guy hasn't lost in 29 trades. I told him to knock on wood, so I don't want to. Let me find some over here so I don't ruin it for him. And there are some cases where he says, "Hey, I followed all these rules. I did what I normally do. And then the last trade, I should have sold for a loss, but, I didn't want to sell it because I didn't want to lose my winning streak." So, now he's battling with, should he follow his own rules because he's got a long winning streak. But
all right, so you can do 2 things. You could either,
we're not trying to make 1,000% or 100%. We're trying to make a little bit at a time over and over and over.
Okay.
But what's cool about it is it gets you in practice and it gets you understanding risk and rewards. So you could do 2 things. You could join the Options Players chat and watch Greg, or you could take your startup idea and bring it to me. And either way, we're going to make
Look
you
at
money.
this. If I hear one more free commercial. So Greg, let me ask you something. What's the biggest advantage of a live trading session like this one? And like, how do people get in? Like, how do I, like, if I want to live trade with you, what do I need to do?
Contact Option Players and let them know. That's first and foremost what you should do. You should probably learn something about options before trying to just trade live. And I wouldn't mind teaching you that, but you also have to understand I'm trading live there. So when you ask a question, I might not be immediately to be able to just go off and spend an hour teaching you something, right?
Okay.
And when you sign up for an Ameritrade,
learn a little bit about
E-Trade
options,
account,
join Options Players, talk to individuals there, and then when you're ready, come on over, and then see if you like to trade that way. Some people don't like to sit there and trade all day or wait, and they want to trade just like overnight things. We have things for that. Where you want to trade something maybe longer term, we got all that. We have alerts that go out in the morning, but for me, I can sit there and talk to people. So that's kind of what it's been. It's just a group of individuals talking while we're waiting for a trade. That's what it's come down to. But if that's not your thing, you can watch Netflix while you wait for a trade. Just
Okay.
But Greg, when people sign up for a trading account, they have to be authorized for options trading, right? Because generally options isn't included if you buy your off-the-shelf E-Trade account, right?
Yes, but now if you're using a cash account, it's going to be automatic. Just say, "Hey, I want a level whatever 2 options account." Everybody has a different level. You just need to be able to buy and sell options, buy to open. And if you have a margin account, that's fine. They won't let you get crazy with that either, just if you want to do spreads. But in the beginning, although I think unless you're scalping, everything should be a spread of some sort, just statistically better.
I like that he's just throwing out scalping and spread and level 2. Georgia's a level 9, by the way.
Thank you. I would say 10, but go ahead. Anyway, all right, Greg, I'm going to check. I really I want to do it, and I haven't done it yet, but everybody, I see everybody talking about it like on YouTube, and they're like loving it. So I want to get in on it. So thanks for the update. We got emails up next. This is, let me tell you something in between. We're like dancing. Okay, this is the part of the show where we get to hear from you guys. You can always hit us up on social media at What's Next Wall Street, comment on our YouTube page, or you can always email us at www.OptionsPlayers.com. So this first email comes from Rich, who wrote us from Instagram, and he writes, Berkshire Hathaway Inc. said it bought more than $4.1 billion of stock in Taiwan semiconductor manufacturing, a rare, significant foray into the technology sector by billionaire Warren Buffett's conglomerate. So that was a lot. Okay, so Greg, what do you think made them make this move?
I think that company, or TSMC, it's its ticker. I think it has a lot of new and foreign investors over the past few years. Big United States asset managers like BlackRock and Vanguard, and some of your more Asian market ones. You have like the Singapore Sovereign Wealth Fund, what we call GIC. But I know that doesn't mean that, but the Singapore Sovereign Wealth Fund doesn't equal GIC, but that's just what it is. They've all already invested into this TSMC. So with our man, little Burkhardt and all them over there coming in, Buffett purchasing this or whoever got it. I think that's it's institutionals already in there. They must like the management on it because that's always his thing. So I don't think there's something crazy going on. I know that company has been doing well. I did look at its fundamentals not long ago. I know it was up pretty well compared to last year. So we'll see. It is in Taiwan. A lot of the
that
things
means
are
there
moving
could
away
be
from some arears. There might be some political issues there. In the
let's
future,
talk about
right
that,
now.
Greg.
That's where institutions put money money in things, and it doesn't get too volatile. It normally just continues to go up because they don't sell quite often, and so that's probably why Buffett put there. But heck, if I knew why he was putting it there, I would have Buffett money, right? So,
Greg, let's talk about the political unrest because Sleepy Joe Biden, he's putting extra money in semiconductor factories in Arizona. Intel's getting money. There's obviously going to be more onshore chip production because of national security, number one. Number two, supply chain deficits. Number three, I think we're getting to the point now where we need some pretty advanced technology to make these 4 micron, which is smaller than the human hair between those chips. And then on top of that, China with their zero COVID policy, you have civil unrest internally. I think they're building camps all over China, not just for the people with COVID, but they're building these massive camps. I think they're going to pull a petty Putin move and invade Taiwan. So for Warren to put that much money in a Taiwanese company when China is so on edge, I think it's like this might be Warren Buffett's FTX investment move, if you know what I mean.
But did you see this information about the camps on Twitter? I just need to know if I can believe it or not.
They're building massive camps, and you can watch this on Bloomberg, CNN, etc.
Okay.
And they're container villages that are massive, and then another half a kilometer away are where the housing for the guards or the doctors or whatever. The thing is, we don't know what's going on. There could be like the next phase of COVID going on over there that's even more deadly than the one that was released from the lab the first time. So we just don't know what's going on. By the way,
if it was released from the lab,
my flat Earth looks great.
Yeah.
It's all over Twitter.
It was
over
released
here.
by the lab. That's correct, right? Because the real news says it was not. I think there was a comedian that did the best thing about this. I would have to get it up to it, but it was about like Hershey or whatever, Pennsylvania or whatever it was, all that just so happened to happen right next to the only lab with it. Come on, we know where it came from. We're not blaming anybody, but stuff happens. It is what it is, right? But of course, I mean,
I
It didn't
get
come
all
from
my
the
news
lag.
from
It's
South Park.
Such a coincidence. It's crazy.
The South Park Pangolin episode is exactly what happened with
Yes.
Mickey Mouse in Wuhan with Randy.
Oh my gosh.
That is how it came about. So anyway, I think Warren
Yeah,
Buffett
but-
Mark and the
investing in
Simpsons.
with your Taiwan thing, that's a huge geopolitical issue right there. I don't know so much about how an invasion or whatever. I'm not even discussing that. I'm talking about just political. Even if it does just turn into a huge political nightmare, and say China does take over that, China has a huge thing with foreign investors investing in companies. And then if you're saying if that does happen, then that company actually loses some of its rights and it's going to be a little bit state controlled. So then you're going back to, is this company going to be something that the United States thinks is hurting our national defense? I think it gets a little too crazy when it probably just comes out to some rich person ain't making as much money and now some rich Chinese guy is. So they're going to blame China. So you got to prepare it, and that's why they've been doing it here in the United States. We'll see what happens. I mean, I don't think we're going to
they're great at
produce a lot of
disappearing people
chips
too.
just because we just can't. I think we'll move away from China, which that's kind of common right now anyways, because the cost, it's getting more expensive to make in China, everything to make in China. So we're going to go to India and, everywhere else, just boost up other places.
Well, China is also great at disappearing people. So look at Jack Ma and some of these other guys that, were running empires over there. And then Ant Financial. What? Ant what? Yeah. Crushed like an ant. That's how we call it.
China, if you're listening, he said that, not me.
Exactly. Hey, if you got a question, we can probably answer it or find someone else who can. So hit us up on those social medias and be blop blope over at What's Next Wall Street. In the comment section of our YouTube page, you can watch George's beautiful face or my perfect hair and send us an email at www.OptionsPlayers.com, and Greg will eat a chip and he'll tell you what's up with that too. Okay, Georgia, Mercedes, the company that actually invented the car.
Yeah.
They have
wasn't
announced.
Ford?
No, Ford just mass produced it.
Okay.
They announced a new subscription fee for speed. I said, do you feel the fee? The fee for speed?
Oh, I get it. The need for speed, the fee. I get
like,
it, but you did the most.
That has a crappy ring to it, but I could not resist the dad joke.
Okay.
Oh, wait, before we get into that,
Okay.
I saw their first car ever. Well, it was a replica because only 3 were basically created. Their tricycles made 100 years ago at the Mercedes World in the UK. It's a brilliant dealership. It's a showroom. It's a tech track. It's open to the public at the historic Brooklands Motor Racing Circuit near the Heathrow Airport.
I like it.
It's the first commercial racetrack, and it dates back to 1907.
Wow.
But look, this whole story is about the automakers trying anything they can do to get into a subscription model.
Oh, they need more money from us?
They do. And now it started with OnStar, trying to get safety calling if your car was in an accident. And then GPS directions. Do you remember this?
Yes.
Hi, OnStar, can I direct you to the... And they'd call and get reservations for you, and all that stuff's done on an app now. Now, that didn't pan out because you can do it on your iPhone now for next to free. So then they put a hotspot in the car, but that rarely gets renewed. Do your kids use the hotspot?
No.
Okay. Well, SiriusXM, they tried the model with Coast to Coast Radio, which I actually like. I've got it in my boat and my truck.
I love it.
Because of music discovery. And I don't want to look down at my phone all the time when I'm driving.
Right.
But here's my prediction. CarPlay and Android Auto, which are both amazing.
Yeah.
They'll mirror your screen on a touchscreen interface. It's large. I think they're going to chip away at SiriusXM renewals. As drivers listen to their own music, it's more convenient and it's without another subscription because you probably already have Spotify.
You're right. But where else am I going to listen to all Dave Mathews songs and actually hear Dave Mathews talk?
All right. So what's an automaker going to do when they're losing vehicle revenue? See, electric vehicles, which are destined to be in our driveways in the next 2 decades, they're going to require fewer trips to the dealer's service center because, get this, Georgia,
I'm here.
They have significantly fewer parts. Now, today's EVs have centrally mounted motors and gearboxes. Those will eventually move to in-wheel motors, and those will act as independent brakes that are computer controlled to slow you down. You won't even need to touch your brake pads, and rotors won't need to be changed because they won't overheat or warp.
Okay.
The other maintenance thing is Electric cars have far fewer fluids like oil. They have no differential. They have electric power steering, etc.
Okay.
So now they do have expiring batteries. And as some owners of the Ford Focus Electric have found, their vehicles are worth nothing and are scrapped as the batteries fail in just a handful of years.
Why can't you just get a new
Crazy.
battery?
Because they're $20,000 for the batteries and the cars aren't worth
hell,
that much.
yeah.
But look, Americans, we're optimistic. We want to think that saving the earth, even though the next generation of vehicles' battery production is screwing it up. The future essence of the automobile will be what Elon had in the vision of his Model S.
Yeah.
To get rid of the parts that break and design a beautiful vehicle that's fast as hell and did what only was required of it was. And a lot of it was free to early adopters. Now, we call that icing on the cake in the industry.
Yeah.
Now, what he did is he provided a supercharging network of chargers near highways, and they actually work. A lot of charging systems don't work. You walk up to them, they're out of order.
Okay.
But Elon stuff's online. And inside, the massive LCD glass cockpit GPS tells you where you need to go to charge along the route. And many of his early vehicles had free premium connectivity inside as well. That means LTE connections to stream Netflix and Spotify. Netflix when you're charging, by the way, not when you're driving.
Okay.
Plus, when software network updates come over that LTE, new features were added like free heated seats.
Love it.
Did you hear that,
Love
BMW?
it.
Free. Now, this was something that his car owners didn't even see on their window sticker. Now, that's how you make fans of your product.
Yeah, it is. But if they do all that stuff free, how are they going to get extra money out of us?
Well, they're building fans. And sure, self-driving isn't here yet, but that's a secret too. And Elon tweeted that it's nearly ready for everyone as a Thanksgiving gift. I don't know if the driving world is ready for this, however. Now, I've been in many new cars with lane keeping assist and even the latest Volkswagen T-Roc. Check this out.
T-Roc, I like that name.
From the largest auto manufacturer group in Germany, VW, I rented last week in Spain. It had this crazy system that was telling me to stay in the middle of the road on an unmarked 2-lane road when I had oncoming traffic. So we're not quite there yet
At
with these
all.
types of autonomous driving robot subscriptions. But I guess, like anything, automotive manufacturers have to get the buying public to put their toe in the water for these extra fees somehow. Now, if you've been a fan of the show, you'll remember BMW made news with us when they announced that they're charging a subscription in some European countries for heated seats.
I wish I would.
Now, this may not be a big deal for you if you live in southern Spain. Did I mention I was just there?
Oh my gosh.
It was lovely, especially the tapas, Georgia.
Yeah.
See, you won't need heated seats often down there due to human activity causing an increase of greenhouse gas concentration that's keeping these beaches warm.
Right.
But really, I'm talking about Mercedes charging for a subscription to extra speed. Maybe it's like those heated BMW seats. If you get the car and you want it for the first year, that extra speed, go for it, bro. Once the car gets old, the batteries start depleting and their ability to keep long range goes away due to inefficiencies with lithium power. And you can just unsubscribe to that speed. But wait, what if they make it like the cable company?
What do you mean?
You have to keep calling to cancel.
Oh.
And they keep trying to cram more services on your bill.
Yeah.
Literally, this has happened to me and my friends. I'm like, don't I need to have a house with your service to get your video and telephone package?
Right.
I'm literally on the phone with you to cancel now. All right, well, let's hope that doesn't happen with our cars. I just want to click and upgrade or downgrade like I do with Apple services.
Yeah.
And look what they're making on revenue for that. It's $78 billion in revenue in fiscal 2022 so far, according to latest earning results for the fourth fiscal quarter of the year. And that's what this is all about. The powers to be within the automotive industry want that apple juice. See what
I
did
get
there?
it. Yeah. Apple juice. That was cute.
I just came up with that.
All
So Mercedes. Okay, focus. Remember
right,
the
yeah.
brand you're talking
Back
about.
to Mercedes. Okay.
It's you. You invented the car. You stand for luxury. Buyers want the Tesla because of speed.
Yeah.
So maybe keep your racing roots and give them that too without nickeling and diming for some measly extra revenue.
Hello, Benz.
Right.
Cut it out.
All right, one more thing about Mercedes World in Surrey. They have an exploded Formula One car that the artist Paul Verode made from the legendary Michael Schumacher's 2010 V8 Benz-powered car, and the art piece is called Suspended 2. It's insanely cool, and now I want to make one out of my old Porsche parts.
That's
Now,
cool.
Georgia, this thing is 3,000 parts. Even some of the nuts and bolts are dangling from stainless steel in an exploded real-time view of the car. and I want it, damn it. And I'm not paying a subscription for it.
That's right. So listen, if you want to see that, you got to check it out on YouTube on OptionsPlayers.com. That's cool.
Thank you.
Okay, y'all, we touched on this earlier. All these tech companies slashing their workforces. So let's dive into this a little bit deeper. The list is crazy. You've got Meta, Twitter, Amazon, the big boys, Microsoft, Coinbase, Crypto.com, PayPal, StockX, DocuSign, Pinterest, Instacart, Karma, Robinhood, Salesforce, Shopify. I mean, I could just go on and on. There are so many more. And that's just in the last couple of quarters. So tech firms are getting squeezed by falling stock prices, rising inflation, and interest rates, along with fears of a possible recession. We know this, right? So obviously some of these companies overspent and became they overgrew themselves. They became overgrown during the pandemic and maybe just need to reset. And a lot of people refer to the Great Recession of 2008, 2009, but is this bigger? Could this be more like the dot-com bust of 2001, 2002?
No!
Meta stock.
PTSD.
But listen, I know, right? Meta stock went up 8% after they announced layoffs. But as a stockholder, it seems like a cause for concern. So, Greg, are these companies just trimming the fat, or should we be concerned?
I think they are trimming the fat it could be, I don't want to say people just aren't doing as much as they used to at work. And I don't care who you are. Go ask someone, what do you do at your job? And they probably cannot give you a real answer. That's a bad thing. Funny enough, Elon did that and fired individuals, asked people working there, what do you do for the company? And they couldn't answer. I mean, it's your boss. You better be able to answer or you're gone. And that's what he did. He fired him. And not to say, the people he fired were bad, but like you said, Meta fired 11,000 people. Mm-hmm. And the majority of these individuals being let go, not just by Meta and all these other ones, are advertisers. So people in the advertising departments and everything else. Maybe that's selling advertisement or actually putting advertisement out there both ways. A lot of that's pretty common. Where do we get our advertisement from now? It's not the same. Now, yes, you still have your lawyers that are out there putting up billboards. And yes, you still got all this, but even those individuals are going into the short videos, TikToks, things like that. So you don't have to have all these people selling or doing anything now. All you need is a little bit of original content placed on some form of social media, and you could do it grassroots style. You don't need all this individuals. So think about how much 11,000 individuals' paychecks were at a company like Meta, Facebook, for advertisement. I mean, let's just say they're making 100,000, just add 5 zeros on the end of, 11,000. That tells you how much. You're talking about saving a crap ton of money. Not even, 11,000 would be, it'd be like 1.1 billion if they made 100,000. So let's just cut that in half and say they only make 50,000. You're talking about $550 million saved every year on advertisers that you just got rid of. It sounds bad, but do I think those 11,000 people brought in $1.1 billion of work? Nope. And neither did Meta, or they wouldn't have fired them. Because in the end, if you bring in value to your company, they're not going to fire you. If you get fired and you think you bring in money, either you weren't a good team player and nobody likes you, or you actually didn't and you're just stupid and didn't know that you weren't good at your job, right? So if you can express how you can bring money to a company, the company just wants to make money, they're going to keep you. And in this case, it seems to be advertisers are up on the chopping block and they're getting released from all these big tech. And I think it's just a change in how we're doing advertising. You don't need all these huge advertising people anymore. You have some random person on TikTok and their couple little editors pushing out millions and $1 million worth of advertising, and it costs the company nothing. So I think that's kind of where we're at right now.
Hey, Greg, speaking of TikTok, listen to this. During Black Friday, I bought an Android phone because I'd sold all my Android phones and I've got a project coming up where I need Android and iOS. So spent $150, got a nice Motorola phone, good battery life, decent processor, not like a $700 Samsung. I don't need that. Get this phone. It's like half off. So good deal. And load it up, do the system updates, do the security updates, put my Google account on it to get the email coming in. And then I get I put it to sleep and I see a TikTok notification on the home screen. I'm like, what the hell is that? I don't have TikTok on any of my stuff. TikTok's just like a doom scroll machine.
Right.
So I delete the app. I'm like, oh, maybe this is like, do you remember when you bought a laptop back in the day? They'd call this
came with the stuff,
all the
all
crapware.
things.
They call that crapware. Just load it up with stuff. I'm like, wow, Motorola, which is like a Lenovo company now, they put TikTok on there, which I'm like, all right, that's weird. But then I did another system update from operating system 11, which is last year's Android, to 12 this year. And I'll be damned if another notification didn't pop up for TikTok.
Yeah.
So they keep re-adding this TikTok on the app. So I'm calling that the new Chinese virus. And I got it removed from the phone. But
horrible.
I can't believe that.
Wow.
And there are also, China is giving the Chinese kids TikToks with like how to make nuclear reactors and how to build robots. I'm just kidding.
Oh yeah, I mean
I
the
was like,
Chinese people,
what?
their TikToks are probably like educational, and I know you said nuclear bombs or whatever. That's not what they're, but they are educational. Their TikToks are way different than what we see. Well, ours is like 8 people trying to dance in harmony or something to some weird little thing.
I mean, they're
while
so
they're over
entertaining.
there with informative TikToks.
Doom
Right.
scrolling,
Weird
but
how
hey,
they're different.
parents, if you get your kids an Android phone, maybe it's not just Lenovo, but make sure you delete TikTok from these things. Unbelievable.
Absolutely. And note to self, if I ever need a job and I have to work for Greg, don't. He's going to be that guy like, it's 8:01, fired, you're out of here.
And remember, he's got that gun on his desk
Yes,
too.
he's going to be like, you took longer than 15 minutes.
Watch,
Firing
he's
squad.
going to pull it out again. Oh, those hollow
Don't do
points.
it.
Look at those hollow points. You have to watch our show on YouTube if you want to see Greg's hollow points. Hey, we want to thank lead instructor and lead gun packer at Options
so
Players,
sad.
Greg Krause, for being here with us today.
Hey, remember, if you've got questions, we can try to help you answer them. And we want to hear from you, okay? We love hearing from you. So make sure you email us at www.optionsplayers.com. Hit us up on social media, What's Next Wall Street. We will answer your questions and we will post your comments and we will reply.
I'm going to bring a picture of my clustering at the range next time on the show so we can,
Really?
we
You
can talk
shoot?
about that.
You
Yeah,
shoot?
of course. You can, of course, watch episodes of What's Next WallStreet on YouTube page. Or listen to us, Babylon, at Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure you subscribe, hit the alert button so you get current training info as soon as it drops on our show.
That's right. That's exactly right.
I am Dave Mathews,
I
gun
am.
toting, tachometer wearing.
Yes, I actually like that
inventor.
t-shirt. That's
Yeah.
super cool.
Thank you.
Where'd you get that?
Porsche shirt.
Why do you always bring, I drive a Porsche. Why don't you ever bring me a Porsche shirt?
I got you a shirt.
You
I
did
got
give
you a
me,
damn
he did
shirt.
give me a
You better
cute
wear it
t-shirt.
next week on the show.
I am.
Thanks
I'm
for watching.
Alfredas, and thanks for watching. Yes, yes.